how I guarantee my SOMA clients success and client results. I believe this is such an important video to make because I believe a lot of bottlenecks, pain, and constraints within online service providers' businesses is that you guys have terrible fear about delivering your service. You know, maybe you know how to get clients, or maybe you have a few clients at the moment, or maybe you're booking consistent qualified appointments, but you simply do not know how to deliver your service and actually give the guarantee, right? So for example, if you were, say, coming onto my service, I can guarantee you 15K a month. Okay, and this is exactly how I guarantee you that, right? So I'm gonna run through the onboarding process. I'm gonna run through, you know, similar like systems and stuff. You can kind of use the same mindset, kind of principles and thinking, when going actually delivering your service. Because, like I said, you know, you'll be delivering different services. So, you know, some of you might be doing Facebook ads, some of you might be Google ads, TikTok ads, appointment settings, you know, different services to me. But I'm gonna run through my entire procedure and how I can be so confident, just speak like authentically and just confidently about my service and how I actually guarantee my clients results. Okay, so let's run into the actual onboarding process of the standard operating procedure. Okay, so when we get a new client, we'll send a Stripe invoice. This invoice will either be a pay in full, so the client has paid full price for the service, or it would actually be a payment plan. Okay, so the service cut up into monthly fees so the client can actually afford the service if they need to. Okay, second thing we do is send over the contracts. We get the client to send the contract, whether it's on Contract Book, DocuSign is the one we preferably like, and sign now. The third thing we'll do is they'll book an onboarding call. So after they sign the contract, they'll book an onboarding call. And this is where we'll actually add our client to the team chat on this initial actual sales call once they've paid. So we'll add the client to the team chat. We'll add the client to the Notion. And in the onboarding call, we'll give them all the data sheets that they need. And we'll actually give them the roadmap walkthrough, which is a step-by-step roadmap going over how to get the best results within our service and how the time working together is going to be incredibly successful. Okay, so we have the roadmap step by step. I think it has 40 steps constantly being updated as we actually improve the product as well on how you can get the best results. Can you see instantly how that is a contributing factor to my success for my clients that you currently don't have? You don't have that variable dialed in. You don't have a 40-step action plan on the roadmap of how your client's going to get results. Right, you just let them in, and it's like, yeah, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to get results. But it's like, do you have it mapped out? Do you have the step-by-step protocol? Okay, super, super important. So we'll add you into the Notion. You actually get the educational side of the actual done for you service, and we like to do this because we like to increase TTV for our clients. So TTV is time to value within your service delivery, and increasing time to value is super, super important if you want your client to feel fantastic when signing on to your offer. So a lot of agency owners and a lot of online coaches, like, to win in their service, it's just super slow. Like, it's just really, really slow. Like, your client might get results after like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's way too slow, right? We're trying to make our clients win now. Really, really imperative. And then you'll fill out the onboarding form. And once you've filled out the onboarding form, we'll run through our optimization inside of your business. So when our clients come onto our service, we like to swipe their offer functionality, their offer optimization, their offer messaging, and just overall run a few things over their system so we can actually dial in a really, really good deliverable process, okay? And then after this is done, as you can see, it's really, really step by step. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. The client will book coaching call 1 on the actual onboarding call, which will be the ads and the scripts. And then we'll place the outbound growth team and content team into your company. And then the MultiplyClients.io service delivery starts. Okay, so if you guys haven't had this like SOP, your onboarding process completely mapped out, I really, really recommend that you map out your onboarding process. You have a 40-step roadmap plan of your service and how it's going to get the client results. Okay, so as you can see, 4 minutes into this video, I'm just giving the absolute source as to why everything doesn't seem organized within your business. Cool. So phase 1, this is really, really important, okay, is we reverse engineer the success timeline and then break the constraints. So for example, before I actually jump into that, you need to realize that there is a timeline between current and the end outcome, not desired situation, because all your clients will have different desired situations, but the end outcome of your service. So there's a difference between the current situation of the client, emotionally, within their business, everything, to the end outcome of your service. You need to start with the end in mind. Okay, what is the end outcome? So for example, for me, it's adding 15K a month to online service businesses, right? I have to go back along the timeline, see the constraints holding my client back, and break down the constraints one-on-one. And people don't do this, right? So they look at the current situation and they look at the end outcome and they just go straight with their service. They just go straight line with their service and think, even if I don't really believe this is going to work for my client, I'm just going to perform the service, right? But you guys are going down here. So you go down this road. Yep, you're doing the service, but you bump into an existing constraint from your client, right? What we like to do at MontBlancClients.io, and this is why we've been so successful, is we like to analyze. We like to start here, look back and see the constraints. Okay, is the constraint here, instead of just going straight onto the service, bumping into this constraint, and not being able to get client results. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to go through here, understand the constraint's going to be there, sort it beforehand, go down the tunnel, right? And then same here, go down the tunnel, understand the constraints going to be there, and you have alleviated constraints getting to the end outcome. Super important that you reverse engineer the customer success timeline and then break the existing constraints before you see them. So what I like to do, and what the method that we've kind of figured out, is building a funnel of constraint A to constraint C and having this mapped out beforehand, right? You've probably never seen this before. So constraint level 1 for my service, right? And you guys will have different services for your one. So say if it's a Facebook ad offer, it would be a really good offer, really good results, creatives, etc. Right? So for us, constraint level 1, what are the primary biggest constraints that if they're not fixed, we will bump into these and we will not get to the end outcome. So for us, it's a dialed offer. So the clients that we bring on board need to have their offer dialed in. That's why we optimize the process on the onboarding, in the onboarding phase, right? So we need to optimize the offer. We need to take care of the offer, build a really good offer, build out an offer that can actually provide value to the market, and get clients who want to pay them, right? Because of the value proposition. 2 is sales assets. Our clients must have sales assets. So we fix the sales assets problem before it becomes a problem. And then, oh my God, we haven't got results, right? 3 is an outbound growth team. So we place and build an outbound growth team in order to get to the end result, because that is a constraint. If we do not have an outbound growth team that can do 100 to 250 DMs per day, we aren't gathering enough attention, we aren't positioning enough sales assets in order to book consistent appointments. And then back-end fulfillment. So we help our clients out with the back-end fulfillment operations of their agency or online coaching business or a course product, because it's really, really important in able to get the flywheel of service delivery, case study, etc. So for us, that is constraint level 1. So I'll ask you, what is your constraint level, right? So for your client, what is the constraints that are here and here that are going to stop you getting from the end outcome? And then you can go constraint level B. So for example, these things are constraints, but they're not as constraints at the top level, right? We need to sort these straight away. But things we can eventually improve for our client, right? So closing ability, we actually have a 7-figure sales rep, which trains our client. YouTube, long form content, client results, dialing in ads to actually amplify success, or we assess whether a client needs to use ads now. And then constraint level C is time, but we normally take over most of the business process, but it's still a constraint. CSM, so we've actually hired a customer success manager for our agency, but mainly that will come when you're doing decent numbers. Video editing, but we tackle that constraint as well. And then mindset from the client, which could be even higher, right? But regardless of which section of your funnel your client constraints are, like, they're all important constraints. Like, instead of me just dialing in my systems and ignoring imagine I've done that, right? I ignored all of these constraints that I've mapped out, level 1 to level 2 to level 3, and I've just completely delivered my service, right? Without ignoring these constraints. I'm going to bump into this, I'm going to bump into this. There's going to be more constraints within the timeline that are going to stop me and my client end up being here and here. So really, really important you guys understand the constraint funnel and how to break constraints and reverse engineer the customer success timeline, okay? Super, super important. So the second thing we do our clients is book appointments, right? Booking appointments is the biggest constraint. That's why it's the biggest problem we solve. So we launch an outbound growth team. So the outbound growth team consists of a growth specialist and appointment set. And this is so, so important for you guys to actually, do within your online service business, whatever offer you're pushing, right? So 100 DMs to 250 DMs per day. The GS is, trained on positioning sales assets, converting prospects into sales calls, gathering attention, and sales framework trained, okay? And we start with 100 DMs, and once we actually have data, we can launch a data-driven outbound growth campaign. That is when we can launch the 250 DMs, okay? But the acquisition channels that we like to leverage are Instagram and Facebook, just because we found that within running like client campaigns that Instagram and Facebook, everybody's there. Everybody's on Instagram. Everybody's on Facebook. It's incredibly easy to send messages. It's the easiest of like all the acquisition channels you could possibly leverage. That's why we like to use that. Once we have at least a month of data actually collected, we use data to refine processes. We review, we shadow setters and growth specialists. We train them, and then we launch a data-driven outbound campaign, which is essentially a ramped up the version of the campaign we initially actually launched for our clients. Okay, so you can really see how you need to gather the data for your clients in what process you do, whether it's run Google ads, TikTok ads, UGC content. You need to collect the data and then run new campaigns and run new systems for your clients. And in this campaign, the growth specialist plus setter will book consistent qualified sales calls. They'll build relationships, they'll position assets, they'll nurture and educate, and they'll get them onto the damn sales call. Essentially. And then building a warm ecosystem. So a lot of agents, owners, and coaches, they don't realize that when prospects ghost, when prospects don't book a call, when they don't watch a VSL, when they don't show up, when they don't close, we can put them back through the content funnel, back through the IG and YouTube funnel, and it will still relate in the same process as the other side of the funnel, where you just simply book the call and then they sign on, right? So it'll be exactly the same thing. It'll be client closed eventually because they're watching our assets, and then eventually they will close. Okay, so this is what we do for our clients to actually ensure success. It's not just. I don't want you guys. I need you guys to stop thinking in terms of like just doing the service, but having a reason as to why you do it in a particular way. Okay, we have reasons as to why we run campaigns in a particular way, which is what separates us from the other people in the market, okay? This is all done from, again, understanding the breaking constraints and then using data to refine. Second thing we do for our clients is launching sales assets so we can nurture and educate prospects, right? So we place an editor done for you, paid for as well, and we use paid and organic content in order to get Instagram followers, to get YouTube subscribers, get Facebook group members, and nurture the prospects in the system. So we solve the direct problem the niche faces in unique ways, okay? And obviously, this will grow the audience of ideal prospects coming to you. This will nurture the audience warming up to you and your service. Super, super important we do this. I don't want any of my clients getting on sales calls with people who don't want to pay them, right? And I don't want to do that for my agency, and that's why I do everything for my clients that I personally do, because it's just the way to win, right? Because I've broken down this constraint, funnel ladder for myself personally, and I understand all the things that need to be broken down in order for me to effortlessly make 30k a month. Okay, and then inbound leads, and then we can have a convo / VSL, sales call, and the client close. So by dialing in these two systems, this process is going to amplify this one. This is what's so good about this, and the other way around. So these two systems together amplify the other one. And this is why we're able to get client results, because we understand how to, one, the initial constraints needed, two, going above and beyond actually, not just launching the outbound growth campaign for our clients, but using the data to refine, and then understanding how we can create two funnels, so the client acquisition system and the inbound lead funnel, in order to amplify one another so we increase the conversion percentage, right? Because we can launch an outbound growth campaign, but if we don't have content, if we don't have nurturing assets, that isn't going to work as well. And then two, with the outbound prospecting, when a prospect goes, we can put them back through the content asset and go from there. Okay, very, 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 very streamlined, very data driven, very operational. Okay. And then for our clients, this isn't just the only problem that we solve, right? You want to solve as many problems you can for your clients, which makes sense and amplify the success of other ones. So, for example, you don't want to do Google ads and TikTok ads because that makes no sense. But you want to do TikTok ads, TikTok consulting, content editing. You want to mold stuff together to build a system, blah, blah, blah. Go through my previous content to find out how to actually win an SMA in 2023. Cool. So how we scale our clients is we keep refining our clients' business through one-on-one calls. We also have weekly group calls with the actual team in our agency. We have team member rotation, so the team members can be replaced when needed. We track all the data using tracking sheets and stuff. We hire a customer success manager for our actual client's business in that scaling phase, and we work with our clients forever. So our agency is positioned a little differently. We position their company to structure a high ticket offer, and this is what we've actually done for one of our clients who's, I think he's going to absolutely smash it. He's got great results for us, and we've now positioned his company structure into a more of a high ticket offer, which is really, really going to allow him to scale. We hire remote closers, so we remove the client from their business, and this is obviously trained by a 7-figure sales rep within our agency. So even you can see there, like that's so unneeded, right? Like technically my service delivery would be fine without that, but I've hired a 7-figure sales rep who is like a client of the agency as well to train the sales team. I'm adding that more value. I'm ensuring my client will get results. You need to go above and beyond in this game. Okay, because what have I said here? If we look back at the constraints, right? Closing ability. So I'm tackling each and every single constraint of my client to ensure they will win. So it's impossible if you don't come on, you will lose. It's impossible. Because okay, if you saw this one, there's a lot more constraints there. We help our clients for our actual offer, but super important, right? And then we ramp up operations. So once we have a proven system to 30K a month, we help you ramp up operations to 50K a month. And this is how I'm able to ensure my client success, ensure my client results. And I just want to show you a bit behind the scenes of like what is actually needed, like mindset wise, in the setting up phase, in the onboarding phase, in the pre-select, like the pre kind of understanding how to actually deliver the service phase within your client's business and able to ensure results. Okay, so super important. I hope you got a ton of value from that video. That was an absolute value bomb. So I hope you like and subscribe to the actual video. If you want to take a picture right now, post it on Instagram. I'll repost the actual post of you watching this video and just be like value bomb, so I know that you're dedicated, because it's 15 minutes in, so there's probably a lot of people who clicked off this video, but you've got all the gems. Add me on Instagram if you want to, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.